And welcome back to another CBB Talk with your boy, Will Dickinson. Wow, what a night last night. It was chalky in that second round, but the Sweet 16s already brought upsets. Three outright underdogs win yesterday, and the one favorite is the juggernaut in UConn. We got to recap all these games because it was a crazy night, and we still got another night tonight of Sweet 16 games. Let's start with the first game of the night. It was Clemson and Arizona, and the Clemson Tigers upset the Wildcats 77-72, and they controlled the game from start to finish. I don't know. I think Arizona got the lead maybe for about 30 seconds in this game, and then Clemson took it right back and kind of controlled it. Caleb Love, obviously, probably a story in this one. 5 for 18, 0 for 9 from three. Arizona did not shoot the ball well, and I'll put some of that on Clemson's defense. And Clemson's opponents are shooting under 20% from three through the three games. But they took some bad shots. I feel like they were forcing it. I think it was like 4 or 5 minutes ago. They took like 7 straight possessions shooting threes. I thought they should have attacked the basket more. We saw Larson was not good shooting. Boswell was 1 for 6 from the field. Really the only guy to come to play was Jaden Bradley, who was amazing. 18 points off the bench in this one. Omar Ballo, 1 for 7 from the line is gonna kill you. But I gotta give credit to Clemson. They played a really, really good game. Chase Hunter, 18, 7, and 5. This dude has been so good in 3 tournament games. PJ Hall was a little bit of foul trouble in this game. It didn't matter. He had 17 in only 32 minutes. He was great. Ian Shiflin, I thought he was the most important player. He came out, he hit 2 big threes. Obviously, that bank-in three was huge in the second half. And then, yeah, you saw, Wiggins come in and hit 2 threes. Godfrey hit a 3 off the bench. Jack Clark hit a 3. They had just small contributions from the whole team there. And Clemson is in the Elite Eight, and we were fiending for a Caleb Love UNC matchup. And neither of those teams got to the Elite Eight. I did not see that coming at all. But I gotta give credit to Clemson. I mean, Brad Brownell, a guy who's entered the hot seat pretty much this year. He's now in the 1 game away from a Final Four at Clemson for the first time ever. First time they made the Elite Eight since 1980. What a year by the Tigers. This team, was very good in the non-con. And then they got into ACC play and really struggled, man. They were under 500, first couple games. I think like 10, almost 10 games in. And then they bowed back and had a decent ACC year, and then they bounced first round of the ACC tournament, which to Boston College, and I doubted them. I mean, they were underdogs against New Mexico. I didn't think they were going to win that. They were underdogs against Baylor, and obviously underdogs against Arizona. And now they've won 3 games in a row as underdogs. They're going to be an underdog again versus Bama, and they get to go play a team that they've already beat this year, which they were going to do no matter what. They've beat both. They would beat Alabama and UNC on the road this year, and they're going to go play Bama, who they beat on the road earlier this year. I got to go rewatch the kind of highlights of that game, see what happened. But yeah, Clemson's in the Elite Eight. It's unbelievable. I mean, the ACC narrative was strong there for about an hour, and then it kind of like lost its steam. But yeah, Clemson's there. I mean, I did not see this coming. Arizona now in 3 years under Tommy Lloyd, 1 seed, 2 seed, 2 seed, and no Elite Eights. So yeah, it's tough. I think this Arizona team's still gonna be really good next year, assuming you get Ballo, Boswell, and Jaden Bradley back. I think this team could be still good. Larson, I think, can stay. You're gonna probably lose Caleb Love and Keyshawn Johnson, but Arizona still sits in a good spot. Tommy Lloyd, he's gonna break through eventually, but it's a tough start. Not making the Elite Eight with being a top 2 seed every year. But shout out to Clemson, got a big time win here. And Clemson's onto the Elite Eight. I almost can't believe it. Like, it's honestly crazy to me that Clemson's in the Elite Eight. I mean, but shout out to Clemson. They got the job done there. Really good win from them. The second game of the day, wasn't as good. It was UConn versus San Diego State. It was a national championship rematch for the fourth time ever, but it was a dominant win from UConn. They win by 30, 82-52. And in that first half, San Diego State kept it close. I think they got the three and they went into nine. I said, wow, UConn's up nine. I felt like they didn't play good. Cam Spencer was amazing in that first half. He had 16 of his 18 points in that first half. Really kept UConn having a lead and not kept them in it, but really just like let them feel comfortable in that first half. And then in the second half, Tristan Newton was really good. Stefan Castle, 16 points and 11 rebounds, a double-double for the freshman. He's really come alive the second half of the year. He's been good. You didn't even have to have a good game from Klingon in 23 minutes. Caravan hit 2 threes early, wasn't great, but then he had DR off the bench, have 10, which is huge to have. And look, this team isn't the deepest UConn team. They really have two players that play big minutes on the bench with Samson Johnson and Diarra, but it really doesn't matter. UConn's rolling. I mean, they were what 20-some point under the favorites against Stenson. They covered that. Then Northwestern, they were like 14-point favorites. They covered that. 10-point favorites against the Aztecs. San Diego State, they covered that. I think they were opened up as 8.5-point favorites against Illinois. This team is different. Dan Hurley is done an amazing job, and UConn's they're going to make I mean I can't. It's hard to be like they're going to make the national championship, but it looks like they're going to make the national championship. I mean, obviously Illinois is going to be a tough task, and we talk about that in a couple minutes. And we see they're probably going to get they're going to get either Bama or Clemson's, and they're going to be big favorites in that game. I mean, you just see how balanced this team is. Cam Spencer, Tristan Newton, Klingon. Any given night, these guys can go off, and I think this is why they're so good. They're not relying on one player, and we saw that's why San Diego State ended up not making it too far, is because they were Jalen Ledee. Ledee was amazing in that first half. Had like 16 points. Only finishes with 18. What a year from Jalen Ledee. He's gonna be an All-American. He was really special this year, and the improvement was insane. But yeah, next highest score was 10 with Micah Parrish. So yeah, really good win from UConn. I mean, they do it I expect them to, which is dominate this game, and they're advancing to the Elite Eight for the first time. That reigning national champion has done it since Florida did it, and guess what Florida did? They won the national championship the next year. And this UConn team, yes, it's better than last year's UConn team. I think Jordan Hawkins would still be the best player on this team, but this team has way more like they have less weaknesses than the team before. Klingon's obviously improved a lot. Tristan Newton's obviously improved a lot. They brought in a guy like Cam Spencer who can somewhat replace the Jordan Hawkins role. And yeah, Andre Jackson, it's a miss, but Stefan Castle's been better. And this team's just just a better team than last year's team. This is maybe the best college basketball team since that Baylor team. I think it's a top 3 team in the last 10 years. The next game, this was an outstanding game. Alabama and North Carolina in the West region. We saw North Carolina really. In the first half, this game was up and down. It was very exciting to watch. It wasn't a lot of defense. And obviously, the big story when you walk out of this is RJ Davis and Caleb Love combined 0 for 18. They were trying to force that matchup to happen. Didn't happen. You can go see the memes about everything if you want on Twitter. But man, yeah, he was 4 for 20, 0 for 9 from 3. It was a bad game for the All-American RJ Davis. And we saw Grant Nelson probably have his best game of his career, or especially this season. 24 and 12 with 5 blocks, 10 for 13 from the line. And it was really the reason Alabama won this game. Mark Sears was amazing in that first half. I think he had 15 in the first half. Only finishes with 18. But he played the whole game. He was amazing in this one. And look, I came out with my top 16 players in the Sweet 16. And I had Mark Sears over RJ Davis, and I got pushback for that. And my reason was I think what Mark Sears does to carry his team is more than what RJ does. And the reason RJ Davis gets a little bit more media attention or is going to be a one-to-one finalist is because of winning. If you're a one seed and you're the best player, you're going to get more recognition. And I think that's a valid reason. But I'm just saying that was why I felt like Mark Sears has been better than RJ Davis, especially recently. I mean, this game brought everything. Let's just talk about Alabama. Obviously, we already talked about Grant Nelson having 24, but we had Rylan Griffin. I mean, this dude's only job is to really shoot threes, and he hit 5 of them, 5 for 8. He was really good, and then he also had the RJ Davis assignment. And he, I mean, obviously played amazing defense. He was great in this one. Aaron Estrada, 19. He's really that's Natos' guy that he allows to, kind of shoot the mid range. And he had 19 in this one, hit 1 3, and then Sears had 18. And then um yeah, North Carolina, I mean, Baycott was really good. He was in a little bit of foul trouble, but was really good. Cormac Ryan, obviously at 5 threes, was very good. And yeah, we had a bad game from RJ and not a great game from Ingram. Cadeau hit 2 threes and then started shooting them, and that was bad. He only played 13 minutes in this one. We had 15 from Wojcik. I didn't think that was going to happen. And you saw Withers kind of sell the game, taking an unnecessary 3, and then fouling the and one for Grant Nelson. This is such an interesting story from Bama. A team that really last year I thought was going to win it all. The number 1 overall seed. They had Brandon Miller. They still had Mark Sears. They had a Jaden Bradley who went off against Arizona. This team was a Bediako. This was a really good team last year. Lost in the Sweet 16 to San Diego State, and we didn't see that coming. And this year, they in non-con really struggled to win games. They play good. They've been highly rated in the metrics all year, but they were struggling to win games against good teams. Then they played pretty good in SEC play, but coming down the stretch, they weren't playing good at all. And I was fading Alabama because they played no defense. And I said, I don't think this Alabama team's good. I didn't have them ranked for majority of this year, especially the end of the regular season. And now they're in the Elite Eight, and maybe because the metrics knew that they were due to do something really good and make a run. And we saw this Alabama team, come together and start playing really good basketball. And they're going to be a favorite to go to a Final Four. Nate Oates is such a good coach, and he was due to break through. And maybe this is the team to do it. Obviously, when you get 24 from Grant Nelson and you have 18 plus from 3 other guys, it's hard to lose. And when and North Carolina only loses by 2, with having RJ Davis have probably the worst game of his season. So if you look at it, it's a tough loss for North Carolina. Obviously, you're a 1 seed here, and RJ Davis is most likely last year, and Baycott's last year. It's tough, but this North Carolina team is going to be back. Hubert did a good job this year, but Bama played really well, and they upset them, and now they're going to be a favorite. Bama versus Clemson, which is just absolutely insane that that's a matchup. It's just crazy. Alabama and Clemson for a chance to go to the Final Four. I thought I would never say that. That's a damn college football playoff, not a March Madness matchup. But man, shout out to those 2 teams for getting it done. And then the last game was Illinois, Iowa State. I thought Illinois was going to win this game. They did. And Iowa State gave a great run in that second half. Illinois dominated that first half. Iowa State really couldn't score for the first 10 minutes of the game there. It was actually God, not Cam Jones. What's his name? Is it Cam Jones? It's not Cam Jones. Curtis Jones. 26 off the bench. He was actually the only one really scoring to start this game. He had 26. He was great in this game. We saw Taman Lipsey really struggle, only 8 points, which is and Mankiewicz only 1 point, obviously. But Iowa State in the second half played really well, made a run. They got Terrence Shannon in foul trouble, which is huge. He only played 30 minutes in this one. But in those 30 minutes, 29 points and missed 5 free throws. So Terrence Shannon really could have had another 30-point game. He's on a different level right now. He's playing, I mean, besides Zach Edey, he's the best player in college basketball right now. I think he's averaging just under 30 points in 3 games. He's the first player since Well, Drew Timmy did it 2 years ago. They had 25 in 3 straight games to start an NCAA tournament. I think only like 15 players have ever done it. Terrence Shan's one of them. And I think this Illinois team might be the best team. I mean, obviously on this left side of the bracket that can beat UConn, and they're going to get a chance at them. Their offense is number one in the nation, and UConn's number two. So they're playing. It's the best two offenses in the country. And obviously, Illinois doesn't have a big guy that can guard Klingon, but Illinois is one of the biggest teams in the nation because they really don't play a guy who is under 6'5". I think their whole starting lineup 6'6" plus, and Domask has been taking over those point guard duties. He didn't score the ball well, 2 for 11 in this one, and that's probably why Iowa State cut close because Terrence Shan was really the only guy getting it down on the offensive end. But he's been playmaking all tournament, and Iowa State had a great year. Look, you're not ranked coming into the season. You finished second in the Big 12. You win the Big 12 tournament. Got a 2 seed. Arguably, probably should have got a 1 seed. So it's a really good year in the TJ Ossenberger. Obviously, you fall short, and you haven't made a Sweet 16, Elite Eight in so long. So it hurts the fan base. Obviously, this is one of your best chances. But look, you can probably get Taman Lipsy back, Mankiewicz. This team is going to be back and be really good. And you ran into a team that's a freight train at the moment in Illinois, who's one of the hottest teams in the nation. And Terrence Shan's playing like that guy. I mean, there's not much to say about Terrence Shan. He's insane right now. But they're gonna match up with UConn, which is not an easy matchup. Arizona obviously hurt the bracket, had them in the Final Four. Was really pulling for them. They didn't get it done, and it hurts. But look, the bracket's still available. It's still around. UConn wins it all, at least to get my champion, right? That's what I gotta think. Yeah. So thanks for watching this video. Got more Sweet 16 games today. We got the first game is NC State Marquette. Then we got Purdue Gonzaga. Then Duke Houston, and we end the night with Creighton Tennessee. So we got another late night of ball. But no, I don't know when this next episode is coming because I'm actually going out of town. But obviously I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna bring my laptop with me, so you never know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.